You know what drives me nuts is that people sit there and they go, "Oh, I can't get clients," and I'm like, "Hang on a minute, no, that makes me sound like a douchebag." But welcome to Loud Lens, it's me, Khandie, where we talk about stuff like this. I'm going to talk to you because you need to know, and it's about getting clients. But it's like sitting on Facebook and going, "Why can't I get clients? Why isn't the divine algorithm just sending them to me? Send them to me, cool, cool." Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. No one's coming to save your business. Not Instagram, not TikTok, not some random stranger scrolling through some freaking hashtags. I'll be honest, they're not. So why do you think you're not getting clients? If you want the work, and I mean actual paying work, you have to go get it. Like you have to go out hunter gatherer style. I don't know. So I was recently mentoring somebody who's asked, could I just explain basically how to pitch to people? Because I said, have you thought about pitching to clients? Like, I couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, what do you mean you couldn't do it? And they explained. And as a mentor, I need to explain it. And I was like, well, what a perfect way to put this as an episode. So here we're going to talk about stop waiting to be discovered, start pitching. So pitching, it shows that not only do you understand marketing, branding, and the modern client acquisition, it actually makes you look like somebody who really knows what they're doing with their photos, but also knows how to work with their clients. Okay. So pitching, if you don't know, is you making contact with somebody to essentially advertise yourself to them, even though they've not ever asked you. Okay. So it's not like, "Hi, I'm a photographer, book me." It's a little bit more in depth than that, but it's such a good way to get clients. If you're sat there going, "Well, I've got my SEO's great. I've updated my Instagram. I've done all the hashtags. I've posted on Facebook, but nobody's biting." Well, maybe you need to go and find people. Maybe people don't even know they need a photographer yet. Okay, because not everybody sits on Facebook. Not everybody is on LinkedIn all the time. Maybe you need to pitch. The photography market is flooded. We know this. Everyone and their dog has a camera, and they suddenly think, particularly around rapidly approaching Christmas time when they all get a camera or they ask for one, and that's it. I'm giving up my lucrative career that pays all the bills, and I'm going to go into the world of creativeness, and I'm going to be a photographer, because I'll get paid millions, even though I know I won't, and nobody actually respects it because even I want stuff cheaply and for free. Yeah, you know it. I mean, don't get me wrong, likes on your Instagram are cute, likes on your Facebook are great, but they ain't paying no bills, are they? So for photographers who want to survive, they get steady clients and actual freedom to do what they want. They are the ones who understand that photography is a business of problem solving, not just taking pretty pictures. And I think that needs to go across the board. Photography, if you're working in a commercial level, is problem solving for the most part. Okay. You are problem solving. I can't actually think if there's any business where it's not problem solving, but we've got to get that into our mindset. A lot of people can take pretty pictures. A lot of people can, but can you run it as a business? Completely different. Quite honestly, a completely different level of understanding, completely different business model. So if we sit here hoping someone will stumble across our feed and go, "Oh my God, this random person is my dream photographer," yes, that's not going to happen. And it doesn't happen, at least never have I heard it happen. And it's certainly not going to happen anymore. Business needs someone who can solve their visual problems. And that's why pitching is so important. And yet so many people don't do it. I don't get it. I mean, this morning, I'm recording this at 11:59, literally about to tick over to midday. I've sent 4 emails pitching me as a photographer to local businesses. I do this. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But most photographers don't understand what pitching is and screw it up. And when I'm mentoring or I'm in the Facebook groups or whatever, because I am around in them, I skulk around in them. I see people like saying, "Well, I sent them a picture of my portfolio and said I'm a photographer, but they didn't bite." And I'm like, yeah, because like I said to you, we need to problem solve. So why don't you say something along the lines of, let me think, what did I send? Like, "Hey, I noticed your brand relies heavily on supplier images. I can help you create editorial street style content that makes your products feel more local and more authentic to build more client base or spread your client." What's your bollocks like that, right? Do you see the difference? I'm not begging, I'm offering a solution, and I'm speaking in business language. I'm not being all fluffy wuffy. I'm not being like, "Oh, just so you can get a 1+2." I'm like, you need to get this because this is what you need. We know that if we walk down our local high street, shops are struggling. They're struggling for footfall. So the more stuff they can get, the more visuals they can get, the more stuff they get, the more they're going to attract people to buy with them. Yeah. And if they are particularly online and then their pictures aren't getting much traction, because you're going to have to do your research, you can be like, "Okay, I can elevate this. I can elevate this." But businesses don't buy photos, they buy results. Better imagery means more engagement, which means more sales. Consistent visuals means a stronger brand recognition, and lifestyle editorial makes their products feel real and not flat. That's how you sell. And it's not just simply being a generic, I shoot stuff, hire me. Yay, hire me. I have a camera, hire me. Someone hire me. I've got a camera. No, that isn't going to cut it anymore. We're kind of done with that. And I think you need to be too. Okay. So I want to talk about how I break it down, like how I would do this. I think it's really important because it comes from me. Okay. So when I try to look for the opportunity, I look for some, like in my local area, who needs better visuals? Is it a hairdresser that is just doing quick selfies? The lighting's off, or they're just not as slick as they could be. They're a bit grainy because they're just using their phone and the phone doesn't have the same scope or the lighting that I could do. I'm looking at local boutiques, brands, cafes, small independent businesses. I look at their website, I look at their social media, I look at their emails and start to notice, where is it falling flat. If they have a social media, like say Instagram, and it's a bougie kind of pricey establishment, right? The costs are not Primark costs, they're not New Look costs. We're talking in the hundreds here. And I go on their social media and they're getting 8 likes on a page on their Instagram. I'd be like, okay, I can do something with this. I can make this better. I look at somebody recently and they were taking photos, very pretty photos, in what looks like a stock room. Okay. If you're selling high cost, it needs to look high imagery. I can do that for you. I did that all through London Fashion Week with brands. I can do that. So I knew then, I noticed that there was a fall down. Their Instagram wasn't getting the reach they should. They had a lot of followers, but people weren't really engaging with it. The images all started to look the same, even down to like the person modeling had a really shiny face. The light was kind of pocketed on them, like hot spots and places. All these little things I could do, right? So I started writing it down. I then do my homework. I look at their about page. I try and find out a little bit about them, get to know their audience, notice their tones, their color palette, their aesthetic, right? If all I've ever shot is like bright, saturated colors, craziness, and then I'm trying to pitch myself to someone who does a more muted, cleaner aesthetic, I don't have the portfolio to back that up. Now, I am going to come on to how to create that portfolio, but I need to know that, okay, I don't have the aesthetic, so I need to make sure I have something that looks like their aesthetic before I pitch to them. So I put that on the back burner for now because I'm still looking at the strategy. Okay. Right. You're not pitching yourself, you're offering a solution. I can help you show your clothing on real people in real locations so your customers can picture themselves wearing it. They make an emotional connection to your garments, they're more likely to purchase. Yeah. Now, this is where I do need to do a little bit of work. So, like I said, if I do not have the stuff in my portfolio already, I could probably use Pinterest and do mock-ups and mood boards, right? And show the potential transformation. I don't want to just talk about it, I want to show it. So what I might do is, okay, I might have to go out and get myself a little beige trench coat, or maybe ask a friend really quickly and do a quick test shot on the street of them posing around in coffee shops, whatever, because I might have to create the portfolio if I don't already have it. Okay. Because they kind of like to see similar. But what I'm also going to do is offer a test shoot, 1 or 2 outfits, maximum 10 images, straight to them, low risk, but high impact if you nail it. So for the most part, when I'm just reaching out, I offer to do 1 outfit for free for them it's like a loss leader for me. Like, if this takes off, I would like you to consider hiring me. People go mad at me and say, oh, you're not going to get any bookings for it. Now, I have found that by dangling that in front of people and they do shoot, I will get asked to do more. On the day, I'm fully prepared that I might get asked to do more outfits. But I say, this one's a freebie. Any additions are going to be this, right? We talk about it, right? You don't have to do it free. If you don't, you could do it at low cost. But for me, if you're just starting reaching out and you haven't had much interaction with these people, I have found this works better. But I'm not spending hours on this. I'm probably spending a max 20 minutes on an outfit, then I'm editing really quickly and sending to them. I try to do it same day because I want them to see straight away. I want to keep them warm and hot, right? But it's a low risk to them, but it's a high impact if I do get that booking. And this is where most photographers fail. They send also copy paste emails. And it's just like, for me, when you do the copy paste thing, you need to first of all put the people's name on it, right? If you're going to email them, put the people's name. Like, so for example, maybe the coffee shop is called Francine and the girl who owns it is called Zoe, right? Maybe you do dear Francine team or dear Zoe and Francine team, like, you make it personal. Also, another top tip is, if it's a clothing garment or it's a food place or something, pick something out of their website or their content that isn't the first thing they've posted, that shows that you've had a look at what they've done. So for example, I would write, dear Francine or Chloe, dear Francine, the made up boutique I've just come up with. I'm a photographer. I noticed that your images were just stock images. I was wondering if maybe we could do blah blah blah, this test shoot. I really particularly love that you've just released the new sequin dress from Zublu. I'm trying to think of things, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'd love to showcase something like this. I think it's really great as we're coming into the festive season. Yeah, sequins and Christmas go together so well. And you see what I'm talking about, right? I'm going to talk about it, but also I want you to make sure that you're not kind of going, okay, I'll do the entire collection for free. No, you can choose to do it for a small fee to do the one-off outfit. I have found in smaller boutiques, it's worth doing one outfit for free, and then if they like more, they pay. But I don't heavily discount, and I certainly don't chicken out if they say politely, not right now, because then I'll put it on the back burner. I've had conversation, and I'll email them maybe 2-3 months later. I keep them there. They're on my burner. Because if you can't handle a no, you're not ready for business. So all you have to do is move on and pitch. Like, send out a couple of emails today, do your research. For me personally, I quite enjoy pitching. I like doing the research. I like going out. I like looking at what they're looking at. Like, I enjoy learning and basically being nosy with other businesses. So a lot of people, you can see the best way to find out who their customer is to see who's tagged the business in, if that makes sense. So go to Instagram and see who's buying the stuff and tagging them, because that'll tell you roughly the kind of people who are buying the stuff. You can also tell by perhaps the price of some of the things and the stuff they're stocking. That can obviously help you and boost you. For me personally, I think it's a really good way of standing out, because you got some knowledge. Take the time to get to know people. So many people send off these emails and they're just like whack them out, whack them out. Do some research and make sure you personalize those emails, personalize them. And like I said, that tip about pointing out one product that they sell is hugely popular. Okay. So let's say if I was doing this right now in Northampton, I might check out brands that are already in existence here. There's a few around, like 32 The Guild, that kind of thing. And they have gorgeous products and they care about style and creation. But perhaps I'm not calling them out because I haven't really looked at these guys yet. Maybe their visuals are falling flat. Maybe they're just catalog images that they've been sent. Maybe they're stock shots. My pitch will be, let me show your let me show your clothing in a lifestyle, editorial, street style image, real people, real locations, real brand story. And then a tiny test shoot would open those doors, maybe one outfit, maybe max 10 images, deliver them for the website and social media. And if they love it, scale it for seasonal campaigns. I would say to them, if you want to go forward, we could do every quarter. People love quarters, right? Maybe monthly, but start off quarters. That's the way I've also found. Quarterly, like in finances, there's the whole year is split up into quarters. You understand, hopefully. So when they budget, typically business will budget for this quarter's marketing, next quarter's marketing. That's what you kind of want to do. Okay. So if you start talking in business terms, they know you're a professional, you're laying down the groundwork, that you're not somebody that is just flippantly offering advice. You understand. And that's where you're showing that you understand marketing. You are trying to create a story to increase engagement with their people following them on all their social media, be it their newsletter, whatever, and helping them sell more because people have made connection. People will buy if they feel a personality is involved. They will buy if they feel like it's relatable. So when you do your shots, don't just settle for, okay, we'll just go stand over here. I see it so often. People are like, do you want to just stand here? Yeah, that's it there. Put some personality in them. I did a shot with Ava, a Polish model, and we were shooting. It was Marks and Spencer's for the European branch that they have. It's slightly different from the UK one. And we had her leaning off a lamppost. We had her walking. She was chatting with friends. Like, we wanted it to look like a voyeuristic view of her, because the person who's buying Marks and Spencer's is a woman who is, from the brand message, who is busy about town. She cares about fashion, but she wants to be also comfortable. She also wants to be, classically styled. Like, it's got its thing, right? And what we did was we made sure it wasn't like dramatic posy. It was just somebody enjoying being in their clothes. We put a bit of personality in it. It helps that Ava is a professional model, so she knew how she was posing. But it wasn't all static, weird shots. It felt like we were going along with her to a coffee morning. Okay, we were going with her to meet up with mates. And that's what sold. I mean, they went online and people went crazy for them. They loved them. So get to know what you're doing and sell the story of the product, not just the product, okay? Because pretty pictures they have pictures. They want stuff that relates to their consumer, and that's where you doing your research comes into it. Now, a few years ago, you could rely on hashtags, SEO, and the pretty grid to get noticed on social media. But now we all know that social media reach is tanking. Ads cost money and everyone's noisy. There's constant people streams. Like, there's always a new social media. to jump on. Like, is it lemon 8? I think I've just joined. I have no idea why, but I'm there. Um, if you want to survive in today's climate, though, you must position yourself as a visual strategist, a problem solver for these businesses, and a brand storyteller. Now, it sounds like a lot of BS, like boss babe-esque kind of, right? Visual strategist, you understand that you need to get your images to do a product. You say, right, I need to take this because this needs to happen. You realize that businesses do not have maybe the images that would make people want to engage with their product to go and buy their product, right? But you also are aware that them just doing their little pictures in their storeroom isn't possibly selling this luxury brand as well as it could do. So this is where you jump on this. This is exactly what I teach when I'm mentoring. It's not about fancy gear. It's definitely not about being an influencer. It's about thinking about your client's marketing department and knowing exactly where they're coming in on this. Okay. I urge you to go look at Pinterest. If you're not on Pinterest, I'm on there, Khandie Photography. Go have a look and curate images. And don't think of it as like, fashion, like don't just put fashion influencer. Go and look at people wearing trench coats, right? And it sounds really weird, but if you're beige trench coats, right? So if you're it's a classic one. It's like a staple for so many brands, this beige trench coat, right? They bring it out every year and people always buy a new one. Don't just put Burberry trench coat. Go look at trench coats and see what the bloggers, the fashionistas are posting and have a look at how much love they're getting, okay? And you'll start to realize it's ones that have a little bit of personality, a bit of pizzazz, but also seem very relatable. Back when I started being a photographer, the main influencers used to do this thing where they would take their handbag, put it on the floor by their shoes, and stand there and take a picture looking down. Everybody like, oh my God, it's so mad. It's crazy. But what happened was everyone jumped on that trend and it started to become boring, right? Now we're used to everyone carefully curating their life. What we're missing is the human touch. And with this massive rise in AI, people are subtly starting to crave more human. So maybe it is a girl jumping up from a chair and running to grab a coffee. Maybe it is watching somebody go through a door and it's her pushing her back at door while holding a coffee and on her phone. Have it more realistic, more approachable. Think about these unusual poses that would get people interested, you know? If you're doing something for a coffee shop, why just photograph the coffee? Why not have the coffee in fun places? Why think of all the different places that people would giving you ideas for your photography now, but think of all the places people would balance their coffee, ironing boards, fence panels, tops of fridge. Like think of all the places and there's a great shot. Where do you balance your coffee? You know, that's a great marketing thing. I need to do that. But do you see what I mean? Like, start thinking about how people are. Like, look at these, go and people watch, see how people move. And then you'll start realizing that one, your photography improve, but also you will understand your client more because that's what people relate to. That's what people see. I know I've gone on a slight divergence here into like the stylistic and the photographic choice. But if you want to stand out and pitch, this is all the stuff you have to do. Lay in that foundation, lay in that groundwork. Okay. Pitching is not about confidence. It's about having complete clarity. What do you offer? Who needs it? And how can you prove it? Do it. And suddenly your business stops being like a lottery ticket. It's deliberate, calculated strategy that gets noticed by the right people. Remember, the photographers who survive aren't always the best shooters, but they are the ones who get seen by the right people. You cannot sit there in the quiet and go, why is no one noticing me if you've done nothing? Why can't you reach out to people? You should not be embarrassed or ashamed to go out and just send an email. It's just an email. Look at your own inbox. How many emails do you look at and don't even like register? You just delete them. Like done, delete, I'm done. I'm good. I'm happy, right? How many of those do you see? Okay. Just think of it as that. Don't think of it as a rejection from you. Don't feel embarrassed that you send it and no one replies. Just do follow-ups. It's okay. I have people who send me marketing asking me to do stuff for them. And I say, no, I'm not available. And they're like, oh, can you please? And then they'll send me one a couple months later. And I'll be like, okay, let me have a look at it a bit more because they've reminded me to look. And I like persistence. We're not pestering. This is business. You should adopt that mentality. It's good. I think you today should go at least send an email to at least 4 businesses. I wouldn't say run off and pitch to Nike, as I was told it's actually meant to be said, or Gucci, but maybe there's a local boutique where you are or nearby to where you are. Maybe there's a cafe that you can identify needs better visuals. So go and pitch to them. And if the worst they can say is not right now, no thanks, or not reply, why does that matter? You're in business. You expect that, okay? Don't expect everyone to jump up and down. So go pick some business today, research their brand and audience, send a tailored pitch each, no generic nonsense. And then I want you to message me, okay? Some accountability. Message me on Instagram at Khandie Photo and let me know how you're going. Take the action. Stop waiting to be discovered. Stop whining about slow months or no one finds me. Make yourself impossible to ignore. And if you need more guidance on exactly how to craft pitches, mock visuals, make businesses chase you instead of the other way around, please contact me about mentoring or subscribe now to this podcast because I talk about this stuff all the time. If you're more of a visual learner, I cover a lot of this stuff and more on my YouTube channel, Khandie Photography. Go find it. I am everywhere. Join my Facebook groups, The Loud Lens with Khandie, Khandie Education Group, all of that. I'm there, okay? Anyway, I need you to know that you're not alone when you get nervous about sending these. I was nervous too. But you got to do something if you want to stay in business because your camera can't make you money. Your strategy does. Okay. Your camera just sits there. Okay. Waiting for something to do. You have to put it to good use. Okay. This has been the Loud Lens. I'm going to go mop my floor right now because I have just noticed that my puppy dog, he's not a puppy, he's 14, has walked in loads of mud and brought it all in the house. So he's going to mop that floor. Take care of you. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you all super, super soon. If you are about, however, on the 21st of November and you want to come down to the Holborn Studios as part of the BIP photo bash, please grab a ticket and come down. I'll put the link to all that in the show description notes. I am there. Come and ask me questions. Come hang out with us. This is for working photographers. So you can come along and actually get some hands-on education, ask questions. There's all sorts there. And I hope to see you there. Take care.